Hello guys, today I'll be going through the Excel export through Angular 2 Plus applications demo, and these are the few points I have noted down. We'll go one by one, like initial Angular 2 Plus project structure, the prerequisites, and how the changes we need to do in components, services, and in the app module class, and then the final website demo, the sample website, which can actually export the data into Excel format. And below, as you can see in this slide, we have commands, though I have already tried that, so it is just for your reference. So when you run the Angular CLI framework command, it will create a new project structure with all the relevant files. You need to install the Angular CLI framework. Second is if you have to create a project into a specific directory. So this app name could be a folder name and folder path along with the folder name where you want to generate your new project. In current case, I have created a project Excel export, and then once it has been created, I have created a service called Excel export service, then the component, header component, and prerequisites of two packages. Those two packages are mentioned here, and we can install it through the commands npm install exceljs, npm install filesaver. And so once we are ready with all these prerequisites and the Angular folder structure, it will be like. And as you can see here, first I will take you through code. So we have already created the service service.ts file to handle all the Excel export requests, and here we have imported the relevant packages. As you can see here, import is start as Excel from Excel.js dist and Excel proper from Excel.js. Now here it's not a straightforward like when I tried with Excel from Excel.js, it was not working. So as a workaround, I have searched in the Google websites, and one of the sessions was use it like this. So when I did this, it worked fine for me. And as same I have mentioned here, the another package is filesaver from filesaver. Some of the properties we are assigning, which will be later used function. For the demo purpose, I am hard coding the values. We have created a footer with some of this information which generally being used by websites. Now in the as a one of the main thing is blob type, because when we convert the data into the blob, and that blob will actually be used by filesaver to write the data into the Excel sheet. So we need to specify the blob type. The blob type we have specified as a spreadsheet, and the hard-coded values for columns where I have specified 5 columns, then the hard-coded data along with the columns and the row values, and then call array I have used for style sheets if we have to apply any, which you can see here in the code, and the sheet name which the active sheet, you can see the sheet name once we go through the demo as sheet test. The Excel file name which I have mentioned is test Excel export, and this function is for applying the row style, where it will tell the function it should be horizontally or vertically centrally aligned and with thin borders, along with the font family and font size. Now we'll come to the main function export to Excel. Inside this function we are creating the object of excel.workbook and associating the informations like creator, last modified by day, last modified, then adding a worksheet. So this is the way to add the worksheet in the workbook dot add worksheet, and this we are specifying the name of the sheet. The views is like additional properties, how we want to display our Excel. It should be in frozen state, Y split and X split. Some of the times you have seen that as part of business requirement we want to freeze the header while we vertically scrolling the data, and in some cases we might want to freeze the initial two or three columns which could be demographic columns, so that while we are scrolling horizontally. So this is for that. And, at the time of opening of a spreadsheet, the active cell will be A1. Show grid lines property will tell you whether you want to display the grid lines within the Excel sheet or not. Then we are accessing the sheet by using the order value. Then we are assigning the data, like in the first row we are assigning a text information exported data using the sheet.addRow function, and then sheet.getRow 3.values. What this is doing is actually we are passing the columns which we have already hard coded here. So we are telling that on the third row of the Excel sheet, pass all these columns lists, so it can be added as a row, and then we are assigning the keys to those columns. So these keys are basically the key property within the JSON data. So in the JSON data we have a key value association, key value pair. So it means that the JSON data key should be col1, and then internally it will automatically be matched with the column values, and then accordingly it will render the data into the spreadsheet. Then call array for which will help in style sheets. Then by this line we are adding all the data, JSON data, into the spreadsheet, and the function for that is sheet.addRows. Sheet.add apply row style. We have already created a function for that, so in that function we are passing the sheet, and rest is same which I mentioned. So other than data, the text information and any other cell, if you want to implement the styles, then we are passing the font family, font size. So finally we are adding the footer, which we have already hard coded in the above section. We are writing all the workbook data into the in-memory buffer. So first of all we need to create a blob object, which I mentioned earlier. So the data, and then this is the blob type, and using the file saver it will internally write the in-memory data into the Excel spreadsheet. So the major functionality has been covered in this Excel export service. Next task is to inject this service into the app module as well as in the component file which we'll be using this service. In the app module class we need to add this service. First we need to import it, and need to add it to the provider. As a successive step, need to install a component which will be using the export to Excel method of the export Excel service. So as you can see here, I have imported the export Excel service and also injected it into the constructor, and then I'm calling the export to Excel method of Excel.js service. To help the demo, I have added the hard-coded data along with the column values into the UI itself by mentioning it into the header component HTML file. Now coming to the last piece of video, the real-time demo. So for that we need to run the command ngserve, as I have mentioned earlier, and when we run that command it should display the site. Here on this site we can see the column names as well as the data, hard-coded data, and then when I click on export it should display the same data into the Excel spreadsheet. Let's see how it comes. So here it is with the exported data in the first row as a text information, the columns, the hard-coded data, and the footer, and with appropriate styling, along with the freezed headers. So if you vertically scroll it will be freezed, and if you do horizontal scrolling the initial two columns are freezed. So with all the pieces together we have now added an export to Excel feature for Angular 2+ applications. Happy coding! Thanks for your time and watching this video. Please subscribe, like and share to keep on motivating me. Thank you.